don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. This should be the last part, or at least the last reading section of Chapter 7. Then I'll just have my recap. And there are a few things that I want to mention. But yes, let's jump right into it. The tangle of parents and brothers separated. Okay. It took a week before Peter's father could draft together an official form in order to dispatch the troops. This worked well for Ash, as after he spoke with his parents, he met up with his friends and told them he would be with his family until the day they departed. After a week of being with his family, Ash walked down the main road towards the town. The friends had agreed to meet before the rise of the sun, cresting the distant tree line. Ash had said his goodbyes to his family the night prior. "I will not see you all in the morning," Ash said to his siblings. "I will try to come back and will send word as often as I can." He looked at his parents while saying it. His mother was choking back tears, and his father looked to be in turmoil. Not with his son, for he loved him, but at the overwhelming thought of his beloved son going to battle. Ash got up early and readied himself to leave his comfortable home and loving family. "Son," his father said as Ash walked past the main room with a bag slung over his shoulder. Did I write shoulder twice? The bag slung over... Oh, his shoulder. I guess I just already knew it was going to be there. A bag slung over his shoulder and a walking stick in his left hand. Ash had turned to see his father sitting over in the corner, his mother with him. "I didn't expect either of you to be up to see me off." Ash's mother had an indignant look at that comment. "You are my first," she said in a sincere voice. Then a smile graced her lips. "You are an amazing son, and I am proud to have you as my firstborn." Ash just looked up into her watery eyes and did a simple nod. He was beginning to well up and would not risk speaking. "Son," his father said, with a crack in his voice, "you are an honorable man. You have surpassed me in many ways, and I have come to feel that I have started to learn more from you than you can of me." His eyes went watery as he spoke. He stood up to walk toward Ash and clapped him in a hug. Now, know this, no matter what you go through out there, you are the strongest and most honorable one among any of them. He pulled away, looking straight into his son's eyes as the tears began to fall down his face. "I love you." Ash could no longer hold back. His eyes welled up and tears flooded out before he could do anything to stop them from falling. "Goodbye" was all he managed to get out. Surprisingly, his mother, having cried herself out the night before with her children, was a little more controlled, but still tears fell quietly down her face. "We do not have much, but please take this," she had said as she held out her hand and presented him with a robe made of patchwork leathers and furs. Ash took the robe, put it on and threw the baggy hoodie over his head. He looked up at his mother in grateful and loving admiration, but she only smiled and nodded slightly. While Ash was walking down the trail, he slid his hand along the patchwork of furs and leathers, which must have amounted to their family's whole fortune. They would not be able to trade for food during the winter till his father caught more. Ash clenched his sleeve on a fur pocket, appreciating his family. "One more thing, son," Corian said, setting his hand on Ash's shoulder, having caught up with him on the trail in a matter of moments. "Take this," he said, grabbing Ash's hand and closing something within it. "Keep it on you at all times and do not allow anyone to see it." Corian smiled at his firstborn and walked away. Ash watched his father walk back towards the cottage. When the form of his father was gone from his sight, he turned and opened the palm of his hand to look at what his father had given him. It was a gem or stone of an oddly pitched black color, which seemed to hold no colors, while holding both a flat dark and a shimmering dark. Ash stared at the stone, puzzled, and its origin and history, while he walked towards the town. Taking his father's advice, he hid the stone on him in the sleeve of the new coat. He had been gifted and decided not to pull it out again. There had to be a reason his father was so secretive about it, Ash thought, as he continued down the trail and the village came into sight. "Hey, it's about time you got here," Hollis shouted from across the main square under the new bell tower. Ash looked up and saw a small gathering. He realized he had absent-mindedly removed the stone from his sleeve and was fiddling with it in his hands. He returned the stone back into the sleeve of his coat and headed over to join his friends. "I can't wait," Garrett exclaimed. A few of the older men who were also going along cringed as they heard such a loud voice so early in the morning. Ash recognized them all as people who had once had dealings with Peter's father and had accused him of cheating them. Already, Ash had a bad feeling about what was to become of his home. There were only 15 people heading out at this time, but Ash assumed within a short period of time this town would become empty of men. They all walked in a group, except for Peter, the only one who was wealthy enough to have his own horse. "I'm surprised your father allowed you to come," Ash said to Peter. "Oh, no. He was completely against it," Peter said. Then a smile snuck onto his face. "And if he asks, I'm not here." He laughed. Ash smiled, having confidence in his friends. But his smile quickly went sour when he remembered that they were just pawns, and what was worse, their city lord knew it, and sent only the ones he already had issues with. or the few foolish ones who had volunteered. Ash feared for his family and the town, but hoped that his family was far enough away in the country to be forgotten easily. He followed his friends in somber silence while they joked and talked. That was the end of chapter 7. Thank you all for listening to me read. Get my book. Doodles.